And now we have reached our most anticipated grand finale. What's next for India's internet pioneers? We have two absolute legends of the industry joining us. Let's give them the warmest welcome as they take the stage. Please welcome Deep Kalra, founder and chairman MakeMyTrip and governing council member TIE Delhi-NCR. And Sanjeev Bikhchandani, founder and executive vice chairman, InfoEdge and governing council member, TIE Delhi-NCR. And session moderator, Rajan Anandan, MD, India and Southeast Asia, PeakXV Partners in Search, and governing council member, TIE Delhi-NCR.
I think we'll have to wait till Vijay. I mean, you can't. I mean, obviously, naturally. Oh, they're all going. Okay, half the room emptied. All right. Hi, everyone. All the people who are left for the OG session. All right. Great to see all of you here. It's my great privilege to have truly the two OGs. Actually, there were three OGs, which I had Vijay stay back to.
OGs basically means old grandpas.
No. Original gangsters. That's what OG stands for. I know that. Yeah, okay, good.
It's
gangsta. Gangsta. Okay, so it's my great pleasure and our privilege to have Sanjeev Bikhchandani and Deep Kalra, who really need no introduction. So I'm not going to introduce them. I think all of you know. Sanjeev is the founder of InfoEdge and now is the vice chairman of the company, but also has made... actually, Sanjeev, I was just doing the analysis. You have the best venture investment like ever in India. Right, you know that. Zomato, yeah, 15% of Zomato is like $4.5 billion. On like a 20 million investment?
Roughly. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah,
a little bit more, maybe 21 million. But anyways, so, you know, as all of you know, not only InfoEdge is an extraordinary company, but, you know, they've made tremendous investments in companies like Zomato and Policy Bazaar. And Deep Kalra founded MakeMyTrip, which India pretty much travels on MakeMyTrip. I also saw Alok here, so MakeMyTrip and Ixigo, of course. And has built the company into by far the leading online travel company. So it's a great pleasure to have both of them. You know, we thought what we do in this session is, you know, India Internet Day. Which edition is this? 13th edition, right? So we thought it'd be good to kind of reflect back because in many ways, you know, the Indian Internet couldn't have really changed more than it has since both of them started their company. So what we thought we'd do is have both of them talk a little bit about, you know, what's happened in the last 20 years and what they've learned, but more importantly, you know, as we look at the next 10 or 20 years, what's likely to happen. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start with, you know, it's very interesting. So Sanjeev, you became an entrepreneur in 1990. Sanjeev started InfoEdge, founded InfoEdge in 1995. Naukri was launched in 97, right? And Deep, you started the company 2000. So 1995, 2000. That's a long time. That's a long time, okay? That's why they're called OGs. So those of you, you know, all the young entrepreneurs in the room, you know, you want to be called an OG, you pretty much have to keep building for 20 years, okay? If you build for 5 years, like, it's nothing. So, okay. So 1995, you took the company public in 2006. 2000, you took the company public in 2010. Second big learning, 10 to 11 years to go public. And if you want to accelerate now, things have improved a lot, so maybe you can go public in 6 or 7 years. I don't think any of my portfolio companies are here, but that's what I keep telling them, you know. Like imagine I'd be another 10 years older before you go public. That's like really hard to imagine. So what's really interesting though is Naukri is now what, 1 lakh crore market cap?
InfoEdge, yeah.
InfoEdge is 1 lakh crore market cap and MakeMyTrip is 11 billion, which is almost, and I think you crossed that sort of 12 billion mark. So both basically over $10 billion of market cap. But actually a lot of that market cap has been created in the last 3 or 4 years, right? So MakeMyTrip was at 2 billion
Three for the longest time.
3 for the longest time, and then boom, over the last two years?
I stepped down, Rajesh ran the company. So.
Right. And then India travel obviously happened, and then same thing with MakeMyTrip. So clearly, the OGs have been at it for a long time. And I think, I used to get this question a lot. I don't get this question often, which is, where's the money in the Indian internet? 1,000 crores of PAT, right? And roughly about 1,000 crores of PAT. So if there's any question about 1,000 crores of PAT, and I just saw Nitin from Zerodha release their private company results, right? Which is $1 billion of revenue and close to over $500 million of PAT. So clearly there's a lot of money to be made, not profits to be made in the Indian internet. So that's the quick introduction. I'm going to start, Deep and Sanjeev, with, you guys have been both at it for over 20 years now, each. As you look back, what are the top three things as an entrepreneur building a company for several decades that you've taken away, and what's really, really important? The top three. You have to distill it to the top three. Sanjeev, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, so look, early on, so when we started Naukri in 97, there was no venture capital, there was no nothing. When we got some venture capital in 2000, then very quickly there was a meltdown. And then again, there was no money. So I think from 1990, when I quit my job, to 2004, we ran on empty. There was no money. So I think you've got to be very frugal. Perhaps not now when there's enough money available, but in those days you have to be very frugal. And survival was success. If you survived, you counted as success. And you keep surviving long enough, sooner or later some good things will happen. And that's what happened to us. In 2000 we got venture capital. In 2004 we broke even and began to make money. 2006 we went public. So just hang on in there long enough, and something good will happen. So I think persistence, resilience, I think that's really important. That's the first thing.
Yeah, persistence, yeah.
Okay, second is, if you focus a lot on the consumer, the customer, and know the customer very well, and solve an unsolved problem, and base your business idea on a customer insight that's relevant, your chances of success increase manifold. And that's what happened to us. It happened to Zomato. It happened to Policybazaar. All based on insight about a gap in the market, insight about an unsolved problem, insight about some differentiated value prop. Right? I'll stop at 2. I'll let Deep.
Yeah, thank you. Otherwise, I'd had nothing to say. So, no, I can't argue with resilience. I think it's been pretty much our story too. But I would just add one more different one. I think team. So I think team is everything. I oftentimes say it, I was naive enough to start alone. And Sanjeev definitely was one of the first guys I came calling to then. I was lucky enough to find 2-3 wonderful guys who came along. And I think I was smart enough to hold on to them and make them co-founders in every spirit. Because we had our downturn, our tough time between 2001 to 2005. It was completely dark. So I think team determines everything, people. There's that much you can do alone. And I think you have to complement yourself. You've got to surround yourself with really great people. And actually, mini entrepreneurs, people who will take the ball and run, people who don't need to be told beyond the initial couple of months. And in startups, you don't have the time. Learn by osmosis on the fly and then run with the ball and actually multiply yourself. So I would add team. Resilience is clearly our story. Hang in there. So I've told any entrepreneur I meet, if you're checking in, please don't check in for less than 4 to 5 years. You will not likely see green shoots till then. And if you give up too early, you never know what it'll become. I mean, had we guys given up at some point of time, I definitely had those moments. I would feel terrible when I saw another OTA do really well and say, oh my God, we had all of that and more, but we gave up too early. This is definitely a case. Entrepreneurship is all about deferred gratification. It's about enjoying the journey and building something for the long term, however long it takes. And once you get the first signs of something, then you get the confidence to do more. And I don't know if I can add a third. I can't agree more on the customer issue. Probably be almost resilient, even stubborn. There's a fine line, but pivot on the how to get there. So the fact that you want to build a great company and a great business and a great brand, which is everlasting, is great. But how to get there, I think you've got to have no ego. So not be too fixated about this was my plan and this is the only way of doing it. Keep your ear to the ground and be ready to pivot and move around because things will change, the market will change. So yeah, those would be my things.
I'll tell you what Deep and MakeMyTrip went through early 2000s. .com meltdown, March, April 2000. They were the last .com to get funded in that era, I think in May 2000. After the meltdown had started, they got funded. Within a year or two, the VC wanted to pull out, right? And they were not making a profit. And they said, give us whatever money you have back. And somehow, so Deep called his team and he told everybody, this is the scene. You got to take salary cuts. Whoever wants to stay, please stay. I'd love it. You'll get stock, but less salary. Some left, some stayed. Somehow they managed to put together some money, get an investor, and bought out the earlier VC and survived. But that was, I think, the worst near-death experience that MakeMyTrip had in its last 25 years. I mean, I'm sure there have been others, but that is the closest. It was a shutdown moment, and somehow they cobbled together the money and bought out their VC at a haircut. Right? And I think that made all the difference.
Got it. No, I think those are good, really good lessons. I think most important thing is don't die.
Don't die. Just don't die.
Don't die, period. Just don't die. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, don't die. Second, I think, is be obsessed with the customer, have deep insights, build for the customer, but, be open to pivoting as long as you get it right. Third, build a team. And fourth is don't die. Right. Okay.
Default alive is the Silicon Valley.
See, basically, we keep telling our startups this to Deep and Sanjeev, which is, if you're dead, you can't build. So the most important, first and most important thing is be alive. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about near-death moments. Sanjeev, you spoke about what MakeMyTrip's
Rajan, can I just explain one thing?
Please.
Don't die. I think it's relevant, guys. And because how many wannabe entrepreneurs, how many young entrepreneurs out here? Just show of hands. So, Manish, of course, I know XMMT. But what gives you the confidence to say, keep going on? Very easy to say, right? And
exactly. Yeah.
Look back is very easy. Oh, yeah, don't die. But at that point of time, I think it's 2 or 3 things, and Sanjeev will definitely be able to add to it. So first is the very objective left side of your brain saying you're moving in the right direction. You must have metrics. You must have metrics, not too many, 4 or 5 metrics, which you need to see as founder, CEO. Are you moving in the right direction? Is your conversion getting better? Is your CAC getting better? Cost of customer acquisition? If you have a repeat kind of business, which is, travel, it's very long, but let's say other businesses like a Zomato, how's your repeat? Is your repeat improving? Your key metrics, are they getting better week on week? We measure even today, an hour today, Friday, this hour today, 5 to 6 p.m., can only be measured against last Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. Not against any other hour today because customer behavior is different. Not against a Thursday because customer behavior actually is different, at least in our business. So in other businesses might be different, I don't know. But be very clear on your metrics. So your metrics are telling you're moving in the right direction, albeit slowly. So you need gas in the tank to get there. That's where you need capital. So that helps you. The second part is listening to people who will give you objective advice. Like you're not being completely foolish because sometimes you have to pivot, you have to change. And that is why surround yourself with good people. People who are not yes men or yes women who are going to agree with you. No point having them in the initial days. Have people who will critique and say, no, this may not be right. We are just in fool's paradise. Things could be different. So I think it's this tussle which is just telling you you're moving in the right direction. Now it's a question of stamina. So it's like people say, running a marathon. I can't run a marathon. I can swim a mile, but I can't run a marathon. And people who run a marathon say it's actually very easy. Run slow. And maybe that's the whole thing. He's saying, you've got legs. I mean, so long as you're fit, you just keep running slowly, you'll complete a marathon. So the mentality is of a marathon runner or a long distance swimmer or a trekker. Just keep going. So maybe, but get this validation from 2 places. Objectively, and then that fuzzy one is the gut.
Yeah,
so
no, I think that's a great
the
one.
gut.
No, that's a good one. I think this notion that if you don't have customer love, you haven't built a product that people are going to love, right? Which means it's going to be very hard to build a business, right? So I think retention, repeats, whatever the metric is in your respective business. So that's a good point. Now, I was going to ask you about how many near-death moments has InfoEdge has? I don't know, in the first 10 or 20 years.
So I'll tell you, I quit my job in 1990. And the name InfoEdge has been there since 1990. In the beginning, it was a partnership. Then the two partners went separate ways. It became a proprietorship. In 95, the legal entity that is today alive was formed, but the InfoEdge predates that. Okay? So there was a partnership. The partnership split. That was, you can call it a near-death moment. There was a proprietorship.
So your co-founder left. That's a near-death moment?
No. So we had we started two partnerships.
Oh, you started two partnerships.
So he kept one, I kept one. We shook hands. We divided the assets and the employees, and we went our separate ways. Now, in I think early 2000, we had got inbound offers of venture capital in mid '99, right? But when I went and met a couple of venture capitalists, and so I'll tell you, at that time it was largely a few NRIs in the mid-20s who were flying in from the US and trying to find investment opportunities. And so I got this call saying, I want to meet you. So the meeting was in Machan at Taj Mansingh. My office was on the second floor of my house in East Delhi in Trans-Yamuna, not a very fashionable place. So they had not seen our office. They just called us breakfast and said, we want to invest $2 million for 25% of your company. Now, I was trying to do the mental math. I was struggling. First of all, I was baffled. Nobody ever called you up to give you money, right, in my experience. So $2 million, that time dollar was 40 rupees. And I said, it sounds like 8 crores. Right? Now, we were doing 2.5 lakhs a month of sales.
2.5 lakhs a month of revenue.
And I'm saying, okay, so 8 crore rupees, 25%, acha, 8. Now, I couldn't comprehend the money. I could not comprehend 8 crores. I didn't know. So I kept asking, how many pizzas can I buy in Nirula's for 8 crores? And I couldn't do the math. Okay, but so then I said to him, you got to be cool, right? I almost fell off my chair when he said that, but you got to be cool. And I said, yeah, let me think about it, right? Then I said, but 8 crore rupees, what will we do with the money? I don't know what to do with 8 crore rupees. So he says, very simple. You'll spend the money on advertising. That will build brand and barrier to entry. And 6 months later, we will raise twice the money at 4 times the valuation. And 1 year from now, we'll list you on NASDAQ. Okay? And I'm running out of my house in Trans-Yamuna, right? And I say, okay, and I didn't know what NASDAQ was. I had vaguely heard of NASDAQ. It's something to do with something in the US, something in New York, something to do with stock market listing. I don't know exactly what it is. I heard of NYSE because, that is the older one. NASDAQ, I said, okay, and I'm saying to myself, this guy is smoking dope. बिजली नहीं आती है, 4 घंटे लोड शेडिंग होती है, जब बिजली आती है 160 वोल्टेज होती है, the ACs don't run, we can't afford batteries for our UPS, so the battery backup is 20 minutes only, right? We can't list in Paharganj, forget about listing on NASDAQ, right? And I said, okay, I'll come back to you, right? And I went back and I tossed and turned for 2 days. 8 crores is a lot of money, yeah. But the guys say stuff like, we'd add value. We'll restructure your board. Now the restructure the board is me and my wife. Okay. So how is that value addition? So I went back home. I didn't sleep for 2 days, and I tossed and turned, and I said, what do I do? And I got back to them finally saying, thank you so much. We don't believe we're ready yet to absorb this kind of money.
Who was the VC?
I'm not going to name.
Come on, Sanjeev, you can tell us.
So I asked one more question, but so I had worked in advertising and marketing for 5 years before I became an entrepreneur. So I knew advertising. So when he said, you'll spend money on advertising, I said to him, I know advertising. I know if we spend 8 crores on advertising, we'll never get the money back. Right? Besides...
That's because Google didn't exist at the time.
And right now we're breaking even, right? Right now we're making a profit, and we'll definitely make a loss then. And I don't want to make a loss. See, this is the problem with you Indian entrepreneurs.
No, this is the problem being a Sindhi. He's a Sindhi, guys. It's very clear. Paisa nahi banega.
This is the problem with Indian entrepreneurs. You want to make a profit on the internet, you don't have vision. That's the problem. You don't know how to run an internet business. So anyway, so I went back and I got back then saying, thank you so much, but we rather right now we're not ready to receive money. We'll do it later. Now, what happened was that 6 months later, Jobs Ahead got funded with the launch ad budget. The launch ad budget, which was twice the annual turnover. They launched on television on the India-Pakistan cricket series in Sharjah, which was the biggest thing in those days.
That's Alok. Where's Alok? Yeah, Jobs Ahead.
Yeah, where's Alok?
He should be on this panel.
I think he's got a new TV campaign for India.
Delhi-NCR chair. Yeah.
Right? And so that's when, that was 1 year at the moment. We had no money. And we had this competitor.
That was the second. Any others or those are the two?
No, bahut hai.
No, but just give us like total 4, 5, how many?
5, 6.
5, 6. Okay, Deep, how many? Just give us like roughly. How many?
Yeah, I mean, that whole period for us, 2001 to 2003 was Valley of Death. So literally,
Like every 6 months you'd be like,
we never had more than 2 months payroll and 2 months rent.
that is insane.
And
Okay,
we-
founders, you have to listen to that.
2 months.
Never had more than 2 months of payroll and rent.
And our team had shrunk from 42 people to 24 people over a weekend, which was a big relief because then I didn't have to pay those 18 people who had left, which was great. And all senior guys took pay cuts. Keyur, Sachin, everyone took pay cuts. I took a 100% pay cut for 18 months because I could. And juniors, no pay cuts, but no raises, promise. But 2 months was what we had. And it was really, actually what people often ask, what keeps you up at night? What kept me up at night were the people who were believing in me effectively and saying, this guy knows where we are going. And I wasn't that clear. Like I knew where, but we were honest and honest. So very honest, earnest guys, itna paisa hai. Sorry, Rajan. This is how much money we have. This is how much it's going to take us. But guess what? Things are getting better. And we coined something called discipline and depression. So basically we said every month, this I coined later for a PowerPoint, every month if we are in 100%, meaning then our face has to say we are in because we had shrunk to a tiny mezzanine where if I lifted my hand straight, I touched the ceiling. It was 11 rupees a square foot in Okhla Phase 1 is the cheapest real estate possible. And we said, listen, people are looking at us and if we are looking like nothing's happening, then they're saying nothing's happening, let's get out of the door. Let's keep our chin up and we will take stock at the end of the month. End of the month, how much cash did we improve? Everything got better. Spend. One of our guys, he was single, he stayed on a Barsati with a terrace, regularly finished 1 to 2 bottles on that night, on the top of the terrace, not beer, and basically decide, are you in for the next month? And if you're getting a little better, you're in for another month. And honestly, that kept us going. That and youth. I was 31. So I think that changes when you're at that stage of life and you can kind of keep going a little bit more. And I think after 2 years, things changed. We got angel funding. We got 100K from a customer, 150K from a customer. But those 2 years, and then after getting funded, almost sold the company. And that, since you said I have to tell you something nobody knows.
Oh yeah, please tell us.
Very few people know this. So we used to be, then we had moved to Achini. So this place was famous because it was right next to a very nice bar called Turquoise Cottage. Sanjeev was on our board then maybe. And yeah, just before he joined, but he was an advisor. So we got an offer from a company called Zuji.com. Zuji was 50% Travelocity and 50% Abacus, which was a travel distribution software. And they wanted to meet me for lunch. And I was worried that I might have to pay, so I chose Waves Restaurant, which was quite cheap. And we said, we'll meet at Waves. And I remember my co-founders telling me, so what's the deal? I said, if they offer us 10, we'll sell. It was 10 million.
10 what? Million or
10 million USD. We had improved quite a bit. 55% of the company was owned by management. Bulk was mine, and then we had these other folks who had, and we had a big ESOP. 45 was angels. And I said, we'll sell if they come to 10. And went through this thing, and they came to 7.5. They started with 5. And you know, something in my heart told me, thank God they didn't say 10. And literally I ran back. We were like 200 yards, there, our office from there. I ran back to tell these guys. And they said, is the deal done? I said, no, I'm so glad it's not done. They came to 7.5. Because obviously deep down inside I didn't want, but if we shook hands, it would be over. And we won't
MakeMyTrip as we know it wouldn't have existed.
We wouldn't
10
have
billion market cap company.
We would have sold in 2004.
$7.5 or $10 million.
2004 we would have sold.
That's amazing actually.
We would have made a couple of million each and be feeling like shit for the rest of our lives.
So I think, look, I think the big message of the first 20 minutes is if you're a founder building, you just got to stay at it. You just got to stay at it. Don't die. 5 near-death moments. Don't sell for 10 million bucks. Okay. Theme of the session is what's next for the OGs, right? So, of course, things have changed a lot. There were no internet users when you guys started. You were trying to build internet companies in India where there were, I think you had once mentioned, there were 150,000 internet accounts.
No, there were, when we launched, there were 14,000 internet accounts.
14,000 Indian.
But your shared accounts are probably 200,000 users.
200,000 users. Okay. So anyway, lots has changed. We have 800 million internet users. Everything's monetized. There's lots of money in the internet today. You know, as you look at the next 5 or 10 years, and maybe Sanjeev, I'll start with you. What are you most excited about? It could be a consumer trend, it could be an industry, it could be a technology, but one thing, and just tell us what that is and why are you so excited?
It's innovation all around. So just a month ago, I sat with our head of investor relations, and he's preparing stuff for what are we going to say in the analyst call, right? And he gave me a couple of sheets of paper. And he said, these are 22 projects using AI that have gone live on Naukri in the last 3 years. And there are 20 more in the pipeline. And some of the stuff was kind of amazing. Now, we've not actually gone public with this specifically because it didn't come up in the analyst call.
But can you share like one? Because I had a question on AI, so since you're on AI, like what is one thing that you guys have done with AI internally at Naukri or InfoEdge that you're really excited about, that you can talk about?
So look, we've been working on stuff since 2009, which we didn't know was called AI, and we just did it, and now in hindsight, that's AI, right? So I'll give you a little example. So in Naukri, there are, let's say, 100 million resumes in our database.
You have 100 million resumes?
Growing at about 22,000 a day.
22,000 resumes a day?
A day, right? Now, 65% of Naukri revenue comes from recruiters who pay us money to be able to search this database, right? Now, the challenge becomes, so if, there's a search form, and let's say you search for C++ Java, 3 to 5 years experience, location Bangalore.
You should not accept that company. Nobody should be programming in those languages anymore.
Yes, right. You will get about 5 lakh resumes. Wow. Okay, let's say. Now the problem is that there are 10 or 20 softer factors which a recruiter uses in his judgment, his or her judgment, to decide whether or not a CV is relevant. Right? And these could be many things. It's beyond this hard searches. Right? Now, therefore, a recruiter will find on the first page, there'll be 50 resumes, 2 are relevant. Second page, 50 resumes, 1 is relevant, and so on. So to actually accumulate 30 or 40 resumes that in his or her opinion are relevant, you may have to go through 20 or 30 pages of the search. That takes time. You're looking through a lot of irrelevant resumes to find one relevant one. So that takes time. Right? And roughly about 25 to 30% of our revenue comes from placement consultants, recruitment firms. Now, the way the recruitment firms work is that the client will brief 5 firms for the same search, and the consultant who puts in a CV first, the same CV will come from 3 consultants. The one who puts it into the client system first gets the credit. So it becomes really important for you to find the right CV fast. So is there a way to harness the judgment of the unstated criteria of the recruiter, right? And put those CVs at the top on page 1. Now, if you can do that, it's a serious thing. So we began to work on this problem around 2009. And it was 2 people, part-time, do it on Saturdays, see if it can work, right? And they came out with an algorithm and some stuff which actually worked, but it took 2 years, right? And we launched that in 2011. And it worked like magic. Okay. Nowadays, it's called collaborative filtering. But that time, we just said, listen, there's Amazon. People who bought this also bought this. Can we do something similar? If a recruiter ticks on this CV and this CV in the same search, it gets a tick in similarity. So we launched a link called View Similar Resumes. And that works like magic. And clients called up within 2 hours of launching it.
That's
Man,
great.
what have you done? This is fantastic.
But I think all your clients shouldn't have recruiters anymore. Like the whole thing is having it like an agent for a recruiter.
Well, there is human judgment, I think,
Okay.
in hiring.
That's like the next version of OpenAI. Okay, Deep, let's go to you.
Yeah, so
what are you most excited about?
Well, clearly AI. I mean, there's no
Are
question.
you really? Is that what you're most excited about as you look at the next 10, 20 years?
I genuinely believe it's going to... we had a chat at a different
Yeah, I
platform,
know.
and I know you shared your views, but Rajan was gracing our product conclave a month ago, and he shared some really interesting insights. I was interviewing him, so it was more fun. But I genuinely think the impact is going to be no less than smartphone, probably no less than internet, but no less than smartphone. So it's going to be a massive, massive
So give us
impact.
one example of how something you can talk about.
Yeah,
Like
no, ours are, I mean, what we've reported in the last earnings call. I won't tell you what we're going to report next. But I guess what Sanjeev was saying is very interesting. It's the pre-generative AI era. So it's very interesting. It's actually all machine learning. And that kind of stuff was possible. We didn't call it AI. Today it's generative AI, and that's what the difference is. So I think in the pre-gen, all of you use it, hopefully. Most favorite feature is price lock. People love that. They see a certain price. They can pay a tiny premium. They can lock in that price. If the price goes up, they still get the price. If the price goes down, you get the benefit of that price. So people love that. It's insurance, but it's been, we lost money on it for almost a year, but it kept getting smaller, the losses. That's a data science model, but it's done on the fly. Similarly, we've got very interesting trip cancellation, because we all know if you travel by train and if you're on wait list, there's an algo, the wait list, you know when it'll get confirmed. So we can give you a guarantee. If you don't get confirmed, we'll give you 3x the amount, so you can probably buy almost an air ticket with it. So people love that feature.
So is that right? So you guarantee?
Yeah.
If they don't get a ticket, you'll give them 3x.
Yeah, we've run
Actually,
the math.
the Indian user might want to get
air
cancelled.
ticket. Yeah, but now it breaks even and it kind of makes money for us. So it's great. But in the post-gen, I'll tell you two awesome features which I think are game-changing, and they're really, really doing well. So firstly, all of us today do search, and I'm talking travel, but any search basis, filtering, sorting, ranking, right? But post-AI, post-generative AI, what has changed is you can do it with a lot of context, you can do it with a lot of conversation. So now, let's say you want to book a hotel, which is not a 5-star, you want to book a 3-star hotel in Goa, or actually a homestay or a villa, which you really are concerned because there are 1,000 reviews, but you don't have time to read 1,000 reviews. Using Gen AI, we are giving you a one-line summary of 1,000 reviews based on your context. That's all what you really want. The human brain can only access anyway.
That's clever. Yeah, that's really good. That's
simple.
useful.
But my favorite one is our chatbot. It's Myra. And it's a really, really cool. Now you can talk to Myra in Hindi, in English, and do a full booking end to end.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Just speech.
Yeah, and Tamil's happening. Just speech. For ticket right now, for air ticket, but it'll start with the other stuff.
And what's the percentage of usage? How many people are using this?
So it's getting into the high single digit.
Okay,
no,
interesting.
Buying is high single digit.
Yeah.
Usage is much higher.
No, buying. Like what percentage of
buying
tickets
is
are now
single digit
fully speech-based?
Low single digit.
Okay. No, but
high
that's good.
single digit is a hybrid, but usage is getting into teens. So, and I don't know if.
And how much of that is in non-English? The high single digits.
I think the mix is 2/3, 1/3.
Okay.
We are still, but we are finding English to be how people communicate.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, and Tamil's next, because that's the one other language. Then you complete the whole country.
Yeah.
Even in advertising, they teach you that you need Hindi, English, and then Tamil.
Yeah.
Because then you've completed the whole country pretty much. So that is the future. People are going to converse and buy. They don't want to waste their time doing all of this stuff, and they're actually going to say things like, I want to go to Goa, Goa mein weekend bitana chahte hain, have a good time, etc., this, that, and I'm going with my friend or I'm going with my girlfriend, blah, 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 and you'll get exactly 3. And you should get 3 or 4 listings with context. The human brain can't actually compare more than 3 or 4. There's a reason Apple gives you 3 comparisons or 4 comparisons at max. That's all we want. We don't want hundreds. So that's game changing, I think. I think the way people will buy tomorrow will be conversational. It will not be what we have. And so either we disrupt our business or someone else will.
And I think Deep, and this is for everybody who's building. So, when I was at Google for a long time, we kept trying different ways in which you could get local language internet in India to take off. And the only place where it worked at scale was YouTube, right? 98%. YouTube has 600 million users now. 98% of content consumed in Indian internet on YouTube is local language, non-English, right? So content consumption, no questions asked. But outside of that, search got up there. But really couldn't find, right? But I think now with voice-based local language transactions, I think we're finally going to see the local language internet just take off, and that's where Indic LLMs actually start playing.
Yeah, it's going to explode.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's how people talk today.
But that's amazing,
that's
that high single-digit transactions on air flight
low
bookings.
single-digit pure, high single-digit hybrid. Yeah.
Low. Okay, got it. All right, we have a couple of minutes left, so maybe we can take 2 or 3 questions. Can we get some mics? Don't pitch, please. I know these Sanjeev is here, so you can pitch. But ask a question. There's a mic over there at the back.
Don't pitch and don't bitch also if you have a problem with the refund.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't get your ticket, I mean, like, the algorithm probably was
talk
hallucinating.
to Myra and go and put it in
Yeah,
Myra.
I mean, I think, like, we didn't get the
she'll
ticket,
sort it
like, the
out.
LLM probably was hallucinating. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, panel. This question is for Sanjeev sir especially. Now, we have seen the journey from Naukri until Jeevan Sati for the entire matchmaking business. Could you help young founders get to know what's maybe next in matchmaking? Maybe something in B2B or maybe something invested to startups. Do you see any space here?
I think you should get married first, no? I mean, like, yeah.
No, I think, I've stopped thinking of ideas myself. We just go and meet 1,000 entrepreneurs a quarter. And look, I mean, not meet 1,000, but we look at 1,000 companies and maybe meet a few hundred. And we just harness other people's ideas. Okay, and if we like something, we invest behind it. Okay, so I don't have the next big idea in my head.
No, but matrimony, like,
No.
this question is matrimony.
In general, matchmaking.
Oh, any, okay.
Any matchmaking. Yeah, I don't know. See, I tell you what we did. A lot of our ideas initially came from newspapers. So I used to see that my colleagues would read the office copy of Business India from the back because the appointment ads were the back. That's where I got the idea from Naukri from. We used to get 29 newspapers around the country, take the job ads, put them in our own words and put it up. And traffic began to come, and that's how Naukri started. 98, we decided that, hey, we've done jobs. Why don't we do matrimony? They're classified matrimonial ads in print. So let's do matrimony. Then we said, okay, the next big category is real estate, and so we launched real estate. So essentially, we were aping print, right? And that's how we did it. So it was not that we were very bright people with very creative people. We were just copying stuff from print and saying, let's do it on the net and see what happens. Right? Now, what's the next big matchmaking category? I don't know. Right? Deepinder thought of restaurant listings. We liked it. We went in behind. Yashish thought of insurance price comparison, which is a kind of matching. We liked it. We went in behind it.
Sanjeev, just extending the thread from your last comment, the previous one, the machine learning that you're doing, you're building, like this CV, therefore this CV. I'm just wondering, and really it's on the fly, why won't today all the open jobs out there, the toughest thing at some phase of life is finding a job. Especially in India, for a young person, not that hard. In the US, very, very hard if you're non-US passport, etc. Why wouldn't automatically, with the whole sea of resumes, you have 1 million, but I'm just saying, be able to recommend the best guys for that job, which is automatically...
It's a non-trivial problem.
No, it is non-trivial. But AI will do that.
So it's still non-trivial. Okay? There is so much...
Yeah, Bumble is finding people each other. I mean, look at what all... I mean, Match.com and Bumble, they're doing many things more interesting.
But listen, when you're hiring somebody, right, especially laterally, not at entry level, there are so many judgmental, softer factors involved. We are not sure AI is there yet to do that matching. Maybe it'll get there.
Offline conversation. I'm going to convince you it's there.
Okay, all right, you guys can take it offline. Good question. There was a question back there. Did we get a mic to you? Yeah, he put his hand up. Sorry, we'll take that. And then maybe we can get a mic here. We'll take 2 more. Our host is getting a bit impatient. We'll just give a mic over here as well in the front table. Okay, go ahead. Is it on?
Hello, my name is Shashank. My question with Sanjeev sir. Recently, I just saw your one podcast. It was so appealing and pleasing to me. You said every business start from people management. And even then you given the example of OpenAI conflict. I am pretty sure Rajan can make this conversation a little bit more interesting because that one line statement was every business is related to people management. If you can throw some more light, because the fight of OpenAI, you just justified that. Even you can see that the people management has where that landed, even OpenAI.
People management. You want to?
I think it's for you, but
I think it's for you.
I hope I understood it. So you're saying every business...
It's about people
People
management.
And OpenAI had a problem with people.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Mr. Sanjeev has recently in one of the podcasts.
Mr. Sanjeev doesn't remember many things he says, yeah. Umar ka lihaz karo,
You
yaar.
remember he's an OG, huh?
So I'm just recommending, sir, it was such a brilliant statement that...
Remember what you said?
Then I must
Can you
have-
repeat just for the benefit of
Then
everybody?
I must have said it.
Huh? You must have said it. Okay, I think he agrees with you.
No. Look, I mean, Deepa said it, and I couldn't agree more that all businesses are about people before they're about technology. Yeah.
Guys, on my lunch table today, and 3-4 of the people are here, we had the power lunch. And I said the biggest job of an entrepreneur is actually why EQ is important, because you have to press the right buttons. When you start off, you have a team of 3, 4, 5, maybe 10. Everyone's got some skill, right? That's why they're in your team, but everyone's not perfect. Your job is to figure out what is that USP the person has and to get the best out of that. And that continues. As you grow the company and all, you just have to get the best out of people, whatever they are good at. Don't try to make that person a mini you or think that we'll make this person an all-rounder. Everyone's not an all-rounder. Someone's a great spin bowler, let them keep bowling spin all day. But then you give them turning tracks. Sorry for the cricket metaphor, but that's what you've got to do. That is your job. How do you motivate people when the chips are down? If as an entrepreneur you can't do that, then there's a problem. Because that is the story you're selling. You're selling your dream, not every day, but every time the chips are down, you have to remind people, that's our dream, guys. We are going there. We've done a lot of work. We will get there. No different from a great coach. Look at the best coaches of football teams. They are they're playing on their mind. They're getting the best out of every player every week for 90 minutes. And that's what you got to think like that. So that's the job of an entrepreneur.
All right, great. Thanks, Steve. Hey, last question. Who's got the mic?
Yes.
Is there a mic? If there's a mic, okay.
But she stood up.
Let's give her a mic. So sorry, guys. Don't worry. Both of them are going to be around for a while. Give her the mic, and we get one last question. We got to wrap up because. Yeah, but I was hoping you'd have a mic, but you know.
Okay. Hi. Sorry, I wasted 5 seconds in the whole mic confusion. But my question to all three of you, the OGs, is, we've seen a lot of surge in the whole concert ticket sale and the whole concert economy, so to say. The question may be directed towards you directly.
I don't have any Coldplay tickets. Yeah. I'm telling you upfront.
No, but I mean, we're all fond of, most young people are fond of travel. Most young people have this as one of their dreams to watch some of their favorite artists play and perform. How can we, maybe is there like an aggregator platform, or can MakeMyTrip, or are you planning to maybe sometime get in the whole zone of curating trips around these gigs so that, we get opportunities? And I mean, right now people are scrambling for tickets to Hong Kong and Abu Dhabi just to watch Coldplay. They don't have Coldplay tickets
No,
yet.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think it's lost on us. I think event-based travel, whether it's sporting events or it's concerts, is huge. The problem with that is there is a big punt. You've got to go up front. You've got to pick up this thing. In hindsight, oh my God, I wish we'd spoken to Ashish and bought out every ticket. But who would have thought? I mean, I went for the last Coldplay concert in Bombay. I think we all went, and it was phenomenal, but it was nothing like this. Today, all the calls I'm getting from friends, kids, everyone else, uncle, please, do ticket dila do.
Do you have tickets?
I told you up front.
Any of you have tickets?
There's that meme going around, right? Person is doing an IPO with 10 Coldplay tickets. So, so it's, but no, gig-based travel, event-based travel is huge. For sport too, it's very, very big. And I think there's an idea and a thought out there. It's a little puntish. So we have to think, maybe tie up with, and in fact, Zomato has recently bought the ticketing side of, so maybe you have an insight into this as a board member.
No, man. I
And
tell
2
you,
tickets.
No. This Diljit Dosanjh.
Yeah, Sanjeev is the one to hit up, huh?
Yeah.
He's got all these tickets from Zomato. Okay, so we're time's up. I did have a bunch of rapid fire questions, but I'm just going to ask one, okay? Now, these are, I know both of you can't give forward-looking statements, so I'm very aware of that, but this is a rapid-fire question, so you kind of have to answer it, okay? So, Deep, you were telling me when you started MakeMyTrip, Expedia was the gold standard, okay? Like, MakeMyTrip someday was going to be Expedia. Well, guess what, guys? Expedia's market cap, 19 billion. Your market cap's almost 11 billion. So
17 and 12 now.
17 and 12, okay. By when will MakeMyTrip have a higher market cap than Expedia?
I can't say more than Expedia, but I can tell you that the best is yet to come for us.
Best is yet to come. Okay, got it. And then similarly, not for Sanjeev, very interesting. India's GDP per capita is $2,500. US GDP per capita is over $60,000. Okay. At the end of the day, what ordering food at home or ordering anything at home is really about GDP per capita. Despite the $2,500 per capita, Zomato's market cap 30 billion, DoorDash market cap as of this morning, a couple of hours ago, 58 billion. Okay? I mean, this is insane. Okay? It's insane. So, Sanjeev, I genuinely think like very soon, Zomato's market cap could be higher than DoorDash. But, what do I know? I'm not on the... So tell us something, the rapid fire question is like, when can this happen?
So I'll tell you. First of all, Zomato, a lot of the market cap is coming from Blinkit, which is not
quick commerce,
which is not DoorDash, right? Only some. In fact, analysts are attributing more value to Blinkit than to food delivery right now. Some analysts. Okay, now I'm not saying that's a reality. I'm just saying what a couple of analysts have said, right? But what we believe, what I believe, and the reason why InfoEdge is so optimistic about Zomato and we continue to hold and not sell.
Will you ever sell it?
I can't say that.
This is true. You can't say. It's 15% of the company.
Okay. But left to myself, probably not. Right?
Because, 15% of 100 billion is 15 billion. That's like a big number. That's like a big number.
So I
say 1.2 lakh crore.
No, but what excites us about Zomato currently is that they are in with a credible shot at becoming India's largest e-commerce company across all categories. Okay, so Flipkart, I think the last trade happened at $30 billion, 32, 32.
Largely internal.
A secondary. I have heard, I'm not sure. Right? And Zomato is at $30 billion already. And
all right, well, with that, there's no better way to run. Zomato is going to be the largest e-commerce company in India as per valuation.
It can be.
It can be. Everything is a possibility. Well, let's give a big round of applause to Deep and Sanjeev.
Thank you to our esteemed panelists for such a remarkable session. We'd like to present you with a token of our appreciation for your invaluable contributions today.
Moderator, then Rajan for...
Guys, we have the most prolific investor in the country here and the most successful, as he said. So what more do you want?
But I'd rather be the most successful.
Super. Shall we just... Thank you. We take it. Thanks, guys. What is this huge thing?
We would also like to thank our gold partner, PeakXV, for their support, and speaker gift partners, Nurturing Green and Assembly, for the wonderful speaker gifts. And that wraps up an incredible day here at the Pearl Ballroom. I hope you all feel as inspired as I do. Remember to keep sharing your thoughts and experiences online on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, now X. Tag us at Thai Delhi and #iDay24. Let's keep this conversation going. Request you all to now move to the Maple Hall for the fireside chat with Adam Konon, GM and General Counsel, Wed Summit, Qatar. Join Thai Delhi-NCR as a member if you're not already part of the family. For more details, please visit our registration desk or connect with our team members. Thank you all so much for being a great audience.
May I request all the committee members of India Internet Day and the TIE board members here to please join us for a picture, and the TIE team. TIE team, the TIE board members here and the members of India Internet Day committee, please request you to kindly come up on the stage for a team picture, please. And we are starting our next session in Maple Hall. I request the audience to move to the Maple Hall, please. Yeah. TIE team, volunteers, board members, and the India Internet Day team, may I request you to kindly step on the stage, please. Shireen, I think she's forgotten. Oh, there she is. Rajan, Sanjeev, please, on the stage once. Rajan, once.